Okay, here's my 24-volt starting system with onboard charging. So I used two of the anti-gravity AG401 12-volt batteries. They each have 120 cranking amps. This back one here is the primary battery, and it is hooked to frame ground. And then this is actually a supplemental ground that goes down to the starter that probably don't need, but it's there just in case. Then the original solenoid is actually now my secondary solenoid, or it's the one that goes between the batteries and the starter. So that stayed. This wire here comes off the positive side of the secondary battery into the reg rec and then down to the starter. So before we get into that, so the positive of the primary battery goes down to a new solenoid, cheap, $5 off of Amazon. Pretty much the exact same thing, just made in China. These have a fused, they have two pins that are fused in common with the positive. So the positive wire from the primary battery goes to the battery side of the first solenoid. Then that positive feeds the original hot that goes out to the charging system of the bike and up to the starter button. Then the secondary, this blue wire here, is the common. I have two Bosch single pole double throw relays. The black and the whites are the coil, and then the blue is the common. Red is normally closed and yellow is normally open. So in the normally closed position, basically we're using these two relays to parallel the two batteries. So this is my positive relay, and this is my negative. So in the normally closed position, the positive grabs positive from this, the fuse side of this solenoid, goes through the relay, comes out the red, and goes all the way over to the fused side of the secondary battery. So that back feeds into the positive side of this battery. So when the bike is running and charging, this battery is getting charge voltage. Now we got to ground this negative. So the way we do that is the negative relay is taking this blue right here is grounded to the frame. Then so that's the common of the relay is grounded right here to the frame, along with the one side of each of the coils. Then the normally closed, which is this red wire here, is tied into the load side of this relay, along with a jumper that comes up to the negative side of this battery. I could have just run it to a terminal here, but I thought it was cleaner to go right into that bottom side of that solenoid. So in normal, non-starting conditions, we've got ground here, we've got ground here. We've got positive here, we've got positive here. These are all connected in parallel. Now, then the load side and this little wiring is the factory wiring. So there's a yellow with a red, that's your hot. Then there's a white with a red right there. That is tied into the two coils on for the relays. So that activates these relays, opens the ground going to here, and opens the hot coming over to here. And then the normally open, this yellow wire right here, that's coming off the hot, takes the positive 12 volts. Then when you push the starter button, this normally open yellow wire becomes closed. Then that sends yellow to the coil, the other side of the coil, and the other side of this coil simultaneously, closing this starter relay and this starter relay. So in normal conditions, you've got two 12-volt batteries in parallel. In start condition, you unhook the positive and the negative to the second battery, and you hook the positive of the first battery to the negative of the second battery through this starting solenoid. Starts right up. One. Stuff bouncing all over the place. So if you have any questions, just comment below.